Hey, this is Cindy, and the class I'm getting ready to teach is Fundamental Vinyasa Yoga. Fundamental does not mean gentle or easy necessarily. It just touches on all the different parts of a solid Vinyasa practice. I will give lots of variations and modifications. I have my yoga mat and 2 blocks. If you don't have traditional yoga blocks, then you could have just some books around that would elevate your hands when needed. So we're going to start in child's pose. Mindfully find your way down to the mat. You can open your knees a little wider than hips distance. Bring the big toes together. Sink your hips over your heels and just rest the forehead down on the mat. If it doesn't land on the mat, then put the block underneath your forehead here. And then let's just begin to breathe very slowly in and out through the nose. Feel the exhale extend out as long as you can to give you that feeling of emptying. And just bring your awareness to the moment, to all of the sensations in your body, to how it feels to breathe here in this position. One more breath here. And then we'll walk the hands over to the right. So you can bring the head with you. You could place your left hand on top of your right if you'd like. And then lay your head down between your arms. So one of the most important things to do each day is move your spine in the 6 directions it can go. So we started in a forward fold. That's a child's pose. Now we're laterally bending to the right with our spine. And then walk it through the center and over to your left, and you can place the right hand on top. Just let your head rest heavy between your arms. Bringing it back to center, float up into a table pose. So line your knees up under your hips and line your wrists under your shoulders. Spread out your fingers widely. Inhale, arch the back, gaze up into a cow pose. And as you exhale, contract the belly, round your spine and gaze towards your navel. Inhale, open up the front. And exhale, open up your back. 2 more of these. We move from strength. Our strength helps us increase our flexibility. 1 more here. And come back to a neutral spine. We're going to thread the needle now to get our twist. So press down into your left hand. Lift your right hand high into the air. Breathe that in. And as you exhale, just slide the right arm behind the left wrist down to the shoulder and the side of your head. You can push into left hand to roll. You can also walk your left hand up and slightly back. And then bring the right hand underneath you and press down. Lifting right hand, unthread your needle, and back in to a table pose. We take it on the left, so press down into the right hand. Lift your left fingers, breathe in. As you breathe out, thread behind the right wrist, all the way to shoulder and head. Press with your hand, or walk right fingers up and back toward the left corner of your mat. Breathe slowly. Always coming back to long exhalations. And then slide your right hand under you, take the left arm up, unthread your needle, and bring it in to a table pose. Walk your hands a step forward, drop your hips down, and hug the arms in to lower to the belly. And we're coming to Sphinx. So prop up on the elbows and forearms. Bring your elbows under your shoulders and then align your wrists with your elbows. So you always want to know where your hands and wrists are. Pulling energetically your elbows back toward your hips and your hips forward toward your elbows. And just breathe. Your legs are aligned with your hips and you might be feeling some compression in your lower back. We're going to torque the spine. So looking over your right shoulder, just slowly begin to lift the right elbow off the floor. Check that your hips stay down and your shoulder is pressing away from your ear. You can always adjust this right hand more forward if you feel like the shoulder is way up next to the ear. And softly come back to Sphinx. Looking over your left shoulder, inhale, press into hand to lift the left elbow. So often that hip will come up. You just relax it back down along with the shoulder and breathe. Slow breaths in and out through your nose. And exhale, lower back to Sphinx. Roll all the way to the belly. Put your hands under your shoulders, pressing into your table again. And we're going into downward facing dog. So start in your long, strong spine and keep it as you tuck your toes, lift your knees, press the chest towards your thighs, and then lengthen your legs. Drop your head down. No reason to hold your head up in this posture at all. So let the neck relax. You can gaze between your ankles or even up between your knees. Then rise onto your tiptoes. Bend your knees. Look between your hands. You can walk, you can step, you can jump all the way to the top of your mat. Sliding fingertips to shins. Find a flat back. Exhale, forward fold, nice and heavy. Open your arms and sweep up to standing. Gaze up to your thumbs, breathe in, and exhale, forward fold. So these are sun salutation A's. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, palm your mat. You can step or you can jump if you wanted back to plank. You can stay on toes or come to knees. Arms hug your sides to lower all the way down. Untuck your toes, shoulders down. Inhale, cobra. Lower yourself down. You can go to table or you can tuck your toes, firm your thighs, and go to plank. Into downward facing dog. And just take 3 breaths here. Now rise to tiptoes. Bend the knees, then look between your hands. Walk, step, or jump to the hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Open up, reverse your swan dive. Gaze to your thumbs. And exhale, belly pulls you down, forward fold. Inhale, long back. Exhale, palm your mat, step or float back. You can stay on toes or come to knees. When you chaturanga, the arms stay in and you try to get your chest to come to the floor before your hips do. Then a cobra, pubic bone and hips stay on the mat. Lower yourself down, pressing to a plank or a table. You choose. Into down dog. You can adjust your feet here. You want equal weight in between your hands and feet. Now rise on tiptoes, bend the knees, look forward, bring the feet up. Inhale, long flat back. Exhale, heavy fold. Reverse your swan dive. Gaze up. And just bring your hands to heart center. Take a cleansing breath here. We're going into sun salutation B now. That was our A, now comes our B. Sweep your arms up and at the same time bend the knees into chair pose. Try to keep a neutral spine, strong abdominals. Breathe it in. As you breathe out, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale again to a long flat back. Exhale, palm your mat. You can step, or if you jump, land with soft bent elbows. So you would land soft. You can come to cobra or upward facing dog. You are only on the tops of the feet and the palms of the hands. Exhale to downward facing dog. On an inhale, lift the right leg up to a high 3-point. As you exhale, bring your knee into cheetah. Use core. Step between the hands. Spin the back heel flat. This is warrior one footing. We want to be on a tightrope, on a train track with our feet. So left foot lines with left hip point, right foot lines with right hip point. And then square hips forward and lift the arms. The legs are doing two different jobs, but they're both working equally as hard. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, hands down, spin on the ball of your back foot, step softly to plank. From toes or knees, chaturanga, all the way down to cobra, or rolling up to up dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. As you inhale, bring your left leg high in the air. As you exhale, step it up to warrior one, spinning the back heel flat, square hips, and float up. Find your deepest expression and take a breath in. As you breathe out, frame your foot, spin to the ball of your back foot, step quietly back. Try not to drag your foot. Chaturanga. Up dog or cobra to downward facing dog. Just take 3 breaths here. Down dog can be a restorative posture. It doesn't kind of happen until you've been practicing for a while, but when it happens, you enjoy this little pause. And then rise to tiptoes, bend your knees, look forward. You can walk step. If you jump, try to contract your belly and just hop. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. While you're down here, bend your knees, sweep your arms up, and find your chair pose. Inhale, up and back. And bring your hands to heart center. Now we're going to sweep the arms up overhead and lace the fingers. Squeeze your palms together and release your pointers. We call this Jupiter Mudra. Try to bring your arms back behind the ears as much as you can. Breathe in and grow taller. And as you breathe out, take your fingers to the right and your hips to the left. The toes are relaxed. The arches are lifted. Inhale up to a tall back again. Let your hands float down to prayer. Bend the right knee. The heel's going to stay on the floor. Lengthen through a flat back and find your right block underneath your right hand. Take your left hand high. We're in a flat back with rotation, a little more complex pose. You imagine that your sits bones back there are spreading apart and pressing behind. Looking down at your right hand, slide it off the mat. You want to have a big diagonal step from your hand to your baby toe. Stretching your right leg long and lifting your left leg high. Think of your baby toe. Trying to touch the ceiling and open up through fingers, between your shoulders, between your heels. This is balancing half moon. We're going to square off so you can bring your left hand to your block and then bring that right block out in front of you for a flat back. Lift your heel but not your hip, so we don't outwardly rotate. We keep the hip down, the knee down, but the heel and the heart are up. You can keep your hands on the blocks or you can bring one or both to your heart. softly bring the left foot down and meet the right foot with it. Forward fold. We're going to place our hands down. You can always put them on blocks. Step your right foot back. You can put a block here under the right hand. It gives you a little more length in your spine. And then your left hand comes to your thigh and you rotate. So you can stay right here, hand connected, or you could lift your fingers. This is revolved crescent lunge. Just feel that you're in the middle of the back foot and the front knee is right on the track of the front ankle. As you exhale, bring both of your hands to frame the front foot. You might wiggle your right foot back to lower the knee and untuck your toes. We're coming up to a modified crescent. So we can start with hands on the thigh and just shift. That might be plenty. Or you could also sweep your arms up, feeling more in your shoulders and chest. This is what you would call a gravity pose. So gravity helps you go deeper. And as you exhale, your hands can calm down. You can find your blocks again here as you straighten your left leg and flex your toes. You want to bring your hip right above your knee. Flex the toes back, inhale, lengthen, and exhale, forward fold. If you do have traditional yoga blocks, they have 3 different heights that they can rest on. So you can adjust and play until you find the right one. Feel some air between your toes. And then shift forward. We can palm the mat, or you can hold your blocks if you want to here. Tuck your back toes, lift your knee, and just drag your right foot up to your left, rolling up one vertebrae at a time into a mountain. Sweep your arms over your head. Again, lace your fingers, squeeze your palms, release your pointers. We want to get the arms back behind the ears, grow tall, and dip to the left. So your hips are pressing right and your arm is pulling behind your ear. This is our lateral bend of the spine again. Inhale to float up. Let your hands come to heart and softly bend your left knee. Feeling core strength. Place your left hand on your block and then slowly lift the right hand. You want to feel that your back is long and flat, sits bones behind you, and the right shoulder is lifting. Looking at your left hand, slide the block off your mat, a diagonal step from baby toe. As you straighten your left leg, lift the right leg high. This is Ardha Chandrasana, balancing half moon. Now we'll square off. So bringing both hands onto blocks, maybe here, so you have a flat back. This is Warrior 3. We feel inward spiral of the back leg, some inner thigh contraction. Heart lifts, heel lifts, and possibly explore coming in to balance. So you gotta contract both inner thighs. Make sure your eyes are focused on your drishti, that focal point. And as you exhale, lower your right foot down to meet your left, forward fold. We'll lunge the left foot back this time. So stay right on the ball of your foot. You can bring your left hand on a block. You can place the right hand on your thigh. Turn to the right as far as you can, and then you can lift the fingers. If you feel better keeping your hand down, that's always fine. You can still twist without adding the arm. Exhale the hand down and then wiggle your left toes back before softly bringing your knee down and untucking the toes. Then we'll come up to modified crescent, so sink the hips. You can keep hands to thighs or lift them up. The more you let go, the deeper you'll be able to go into the pose. And then we'll shift back into splits prep. So you can find your blocks again, shift right on top of your left knee, flexing your right toes with a long right leg. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to fold. You can keep hands on blocks or lower the blocks or come all the way to the floor. So our sides can be very different. Right now I've been dealing with a hamstring pull on my left side, so it's very different than this side. But that's okay, because we honor the body we bring to the mat each time we show up on the mat. And we know that nothing in nature is symmetrical anyway. Shift your weight forward. You can hold the blocks or palm your mat, tuck the back toes, lift the knee, and step up to the top. Slowly roll it up one vertebrae at a time. Coming into Mountain Tadasana, just close your eyes for a moment and take a cleansing breath. Check in with how you're feeling. That energy is radiating all around your body. Flutter your eyes open, sweep your arms back up. Exhale, forward folds. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, palm your mat, step or jump back, knees or toes, chaturanga. You can take cobra or up dog, so you find the one that's right for you in each of these options, and then downward facing dog. On your inhale, bring the right leg high into the air, 3-point. And on your exhale, strong belly, cheetah, we're stepping to warrior 2. So foot between the hands, spin the back heel flat, align your feet with each other, and windmill up. So the feet in warrior 2 are what we call tightrope feet. They align like you were standing on a tightrope, heel with back end step. And then you want to align your front knee over your ankle, and your shoulders over your hips. Flip the right palm, put the left hand on your thigh, and reach back into peaceful warrior. Try not to come out of the front knees bend. And then as you exhale, keep that length into side angle. You can place the forearm on your thigh and stay long. You could grab a block and place it under the right hand, or bring your hand all the way to the floor. And let your heart shine up. If it bothers your neck, looking at the ceiling, look straight ahead or down at the floor. Think press down to come up. We're going to stretch the right leg long and windmill back into reverse triangle. And then bring it out. So for me, when I go from side angle to triangle, our next pose, my stance is too wide. So I hop the back foot up just about a half of a step. Take the arms wide. Check that your right toes are forward, left toes are in. Press your hips back. Take your ribs and arm forward until you can't go any further, and you just bring your hand where it falls. It might land on your shin. You can also put a block behind your foot. Not concerned about the where. Just finding length in your torso. Now push down to come up. Windmill your arms. Reverse triangle. Bring it back and place your hands on your hips. Hop your left foot up another half step and out to the side so that the hips now shine forward toward the front of your mat. Take your left hand high. Feel some space and length in the side and in the spine. And then begin to hinge. Flat back as long as you can. I always grab a block for this one. And then that helps me keep my back long because you don't want a rounded spine, you want a long one. Revolve triangle, it's trickier than it looks. You're gonna lift the right shoulder, but try not to lift the right hip. You can keep hand to hip or lift it up, but just be very mindful. This is a lot of rotation in the spine, so you want to use abdominal strength. And then exhale, float it down, and we'll pivot around to the left long side of the mat for wide leg forward fold. So we turn the toes in and the heels out. You want about 3.5 to 4 feet between your toes. Inhale, flat, long spine, and exhale, forward fold. You could bring a block or two under your hands here. You could take a peace finger hold, so you slide your peace fingers between your big and second toe, make a hook, pull up with the fingers and down with the toes. Abdominals are strong. And then walk out again to your flat back and pivot to frame your right foot. Place your palms down as quietly as you can. Step right to meet left, and from no toes or knees, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Just take 3 breaths here, restoring energy. Know that you can always come down to your knees in a child's pose for more restoration. And inhaling, lift your left leg high 3, equal weight in the arms. Exhale, strong belly, cheetah to warrior 2. Spin the back heel, check your feet. Are they aligned with one another? And windmill your arms out. A lot of energy in the feet. Both legs working hard even though they have different jobs. Pull your shoulder blades together for upper back strength. That's great for your posture. Flip the left palm, bring the right hand down and reach into peaceful. As you exhale, lengthen to side angle. You want to maintain that space as your forearm starts on your thigh and right fingers lift. If you wanted to go deeper, hand down to block or floor inside of your foot. Your arm and leg stay connected. Your arm is actually helping you press the knee back to open your hip. Think pushing down to come up. Stretch your left leg, reverse triangle. And then open the arms. So I'm going to hop my right foot up a half of a step, so I'm not so wide in my stance. Push the hips back, take the ribs forward, and then just let your hands slide to the right place for you. Feeling your hips forward and your shoulders back, keeping you on one plane. So one of the visuals is to imagine you are a piece of bread in a toaster. Now push down and come back up to reverse triangle again. Bring your hands to your hips. Hop the right foot up a half step and out to the right so that your hips can be very square. Revolve triangle, so the right hand comes up. Feel long. Hinge with a flat back, and then maybe grab a block under right hand. And then lifting your left shoulder without lifting your left hip. Keeping hand to hip or bringing it up. Turn your gaze where it feels best. Keep reaching that left hip back. Exhale, bring it down. We're going to pivot around to the long right side of the mat. Opening feet about 3.5 to 4 feet apart. Inward rotation of your hips. Push your heels to the edges of the mat. Lengthen and fold. So you can do your big toe hold again. You can also work reverse chaturanga. So the hands go through your legs, fingers point back, and then you bend the elbows to bring yourself through. and walk it back to a flat back. Let's pivot around and frame the left foot. Step quietly to plank. Knees or toes, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths in and out through your nose. Now rise on tiptoes, bend the knees, look forward, walk, step, or jump to your hands. Inhale, flat. Exhale, fold. Open arms, sweep up. The back bend might feel nice at the top. And then slowly arms down and find mountain. Close your eyes and take a cleansing breath. Flutter eyes open and bring hands to prayer position. We're going into tree pose. Whenever we balance on one foot, we need to double check that our toes are widely spread. So pick up all your toes. Leave the balls of the feet down. Place them one at a time. Start with your baby toe, in with your big, and see how wide you can spread them apart from one another. Feel some air there. Thumbs on the sternum. Pull up from the hips, and we'll bring the right foot to tree. So you can bring your foot to your ankle. You can slide it to your calf or flex your foot, reach for your ankle, and bring it into your thigh. It's very important standing on one foot that you have a focal point, that drishti. It's one very specific spot that you just keep your eyes resting on. Slowly float yourself back to your mountain. Lift and spread out the toes. Bring your hands to prayer. And then choose where you want this left foot to be. Your sides don't have to match. It can be ankle, calf, or thigh. The one place we do not want the foot is on the knee. It puts pressure on our joints, and we never want to push on joints. So either above it or below it. Try to lift up out of your hips and get taller. And exhale, down to mountain pose. Now we'll take our eagle arms. I'll show you from the front first. So you can take the arms out widely, sweep your right under your left. Your hands might not bind. If not, it's fine if they're just toward each other, backs of hands. Another option is give yourself a hug. And the legs of this, you have to choose which side of the arms to find a drishti on. Don't look at your arms because it's kind of blurry so close. And then the right knee will fold, feel your abs, and you cross as high as you can, bend your left knee and lower. Your toes could even rest on the floor or a block. They can be up in the air. You could wrap them around your ankle. So you find the eagle that's right for you. There's a little squeeze in the inner thighs that actually activates your abdominal muscles even more. Try to keep your elbows high. And then unwind arms and legs. Other side. Open up your arms wide. Sweep your left underneath your right. You find the right variation. Just like other things, your variation could be different. Pick up the left knee. Start with initiation from abs. Cross it high into the inner thighs. Bend the left knee. Toes down in the air or wrapped on the ankle. Try not to turn the hips. Keep them straight ahead. Slowly unwind and come to mountain. We'll do one more balancing posture, dancer. So take your left arm high above you. Find length and height. Bend the right arm beside you, like a little check mark out there, ready to catch the foot. Toes widely spread. Pick up the right foot. Squeeze your knees together. If that's it and you can't get your foot, hold this position. If you are able to, grab the top of the foot, but keep the knees together and the right knee pointing down. You can stay here. This is what we call flamingo pose. Or keeping your knee in line with your hip, you can press the foot into the hand, which lifts the toes, and just long breaths. Draw your knees back and back to mountain pose. Lift the right arm high, stretch up, bend the left arm like a check. So keeping knees squeezing in, inner thighs working, bend the knee. You can stay here. If there was space, left hand could find foot, but keep the knees pulling together. If you want, stay in flamingo or foot into hand. Toes lift. The chest will reach forward just because it has to. You don't want to tilt it farther than needed. Draw it back together and find your mountain pose. Take a cleansing breath here. On your next inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, forward fold all the way down. Inhale to a flat back. Just step your feet back. So we're going to palm the mat, step back, and come all the way down to your belly. We'll do one back strengthener. So bringing your big toes together, try to glue them into the inner thighs work. You can either place your palms on the floor beside you, or if you had space, you could lace the fingers behind your back yoga mudra. If you have laced fingers, squeeze between the shoulder blades, lift your pinkies. Then let your head and chest come up. And if you can, also lift your legs up. You don't have to do the legs. So it's hard to breathe on the belly, so just keep it flowing. 3 more breaths. Slowly let it all go. Drop it down. Place your right ear on the mat. Let your body relax. And then bring your gaze center, bend your knees. So once again, you can keep your palms on the floor. If you had space, you could reach and grab your feet. You could stay here and just rest your forehead on the floor and pull the heels in. Or like dancer, you can push the feet into your hands, which will help you lift your thighs, heart, and head up. Try not to let your knees open wide, but keep them behind your hips. And then focus on your breath. One more inhale. Exhale slowly. Come to your left ear this time. Let go of your feet if you're holding them. And just windshield wiper your toes from side to side. And then rest your legs down. Take hands underneath you, press to table, crossing at ankles or feet to one side, have a seat. So now we'll do something to strengthen our abdominals. We'll break down boat into many variations so you can find the right one. Sit up on the sits bones, knees together, big toes together. Start holding on to the backs of your thighs and then just come to the tips of your toes with like barely any weight there. Feel how your abs contracted. So stop at any point, like get off the bus at the right bus stop for you. If you want to go a little more, lift your legs with bent knees. A little bit more, take your hands forward. Even more, straighten your legs. And even more, lift your arms. And let's just hold for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now lower your feet back down. Hold on to the thighs. We're going to go to canoe. I'll break it down just like the boat. So tuck your chin and find a very rounded back and hollowed belly. And then curl down to the tips of your shoulder blades, just right here. This can be your pose, or you could come to tiptoes. You could lift knees with bent knees, shins parallel to ceiling. You could let go. You could straighten your legs even harder. You can bring your arms over your head for 4, 3, 2, and slowly come down. Stretch it out, nice and long. And let's bring the arms by the sides and the feet down to the floor to take a bridge. So make sure your heels are closed, knees are tracked with hips as well as ankles, and peel it up. Arms can stay here, or you could lace fingers behind your back again and wiggle the arms under as close as you can to each other. Always aware there's no tension in your neck. There is no weight in your neck. Release your hands. Peel the spine all the way to the floor slowly. Bring the soles together and the knees apart in a cobbler, Supta Baddha Konasana. Left hand on heart, right hand on belly. Rest your elbows down. Feel the breath flowing under your hands. And then guide the knees together and hug them into your chest. It might feel nice to find some movement here. On an exhale, you can curl your head up unless this bothers your neck and try flexing your feet. You may have room to grab your feet in your hands. If not, just grab as low down the legs as possible. This really opens up the spine. And then we'll lay the head down. At the same time, lift the soles of your feet toward the ceiling and let your arms come inside your legs, but you're still holding on to the outsides of the feet. This is happy baby pose. So we're trying to pull the thighs down, relax the shoulders. You might want to rock a little. It's kind of soothing. And then bring the knees in. You can give them one more hug, and let's take a spinal twist. Letting the knees fall right, you can wiggle hips over to the left. You can place the right hand over the left leg and the left arm out. Try all 3 directions of the gaze to find what feels best for you. And slowly bring everything back through center. Take your knees left. You can wiggle hips right. Take the left hand over the right leg and the right arm out to the side. And just choose where you want to turn the head. And come back to center. Let's find Shavasana. So stretch the legs out. I like my legs wide, like wider than the mat, but you might not. Some people like to be more narrow. So just figure out where does it feel the best in your hips and low back. Then take the arms down. So I like my arms wide too, like off the mat, but that might not be you. Find where it feels best to your shoulders. Float your palms up toward the ceiling or sky. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose. Then the longest, slowest breath out through your mouth that you can. Leave your tongue on the floor of your mouth and leave your lips and teeth slightly parted. This will help your body relax more from the jaw all the way down to the toes. Maybe the first few moments, just noticing the feelings, the sensations, the tingles and swirls and pulses. And you can notice your breath, how it's becoming softer because we don't need a long deep breath just to lie and relax. And you can notice if there's anything going on in the mind, and if so, it's important to acknowledge each thought and after, let each thought go. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Wiggle the fingers and the toes and roll the ankles and wrists. Allow your head to fall from side to side. Squeeze your legs together and reach your arms up long. Take a big inhale. And then as you exhale, slowly draw one knee and the other into the chest and give yourself a hug. Keeping eyes closed, find a comfortable way to come to seated, resting the backs of your hands on your knees. Notice how you feel. Let's take one more cleansing breath. In through the nose deeply. Out through the mouth fully. Bring your hands together at heart center. I honor the place in you where the whole universe dwells. A place of love, of truth, of light, and of peace. When you're in that place in you, and I'm in that place in me, we are one. Namaste. Namaste, y'all. Thank you.